Dr. Samuel Noi Mensah is chairman of the board of trustees of Full Gospel Church International. Grateful to you, sir, for joining. Now, what do you make of all of this? That you are a man of God, God reveals things to you, and you have to put it across. What do you make of even the mechanism some of you choose to do it, and now the presidential envoy for interfaith seeking to, regulate of a sort how you go about communicating the prophecies that God gives you?
Well, thank you very much, Kudu, and good morning to your panel over there, your cherished viewers. First of all, let me express my condolence to the nation, the president, and the immediate bereaved families that have lost these great men and men that serving the country. I do appreciate what we are trying to do to manage the feelings of people, but government getting involved in the management of prophecies, we will probably get into a system where government cannot control this. I think government's function is to provide the leadership and solve the problems of our. We shouldn't mix what we claim as prophecies to the management of governance. No nation has developed based on prophecies and prayers. Nations have developed by leaders who think and solve the problems of our society. If you look at China, Singapore, Malaysia, Dubai, they are not developed based on prophecies and prayers. The problems we have in our country are not spiritual. They are common sense problems that need common sense solutions, and needs critical thinking in solving our problems. And therefore, we shouldn't at this stage, in the midst of our tragedy, begin to wade into the situation thinking that we are, prophecies and what have you should be managed. Now, unfortunately, there are a number of the prophets and the so-called prophets who are taking advantage of the tragedy and trying to take ownership of this particular situation as if they were the authority of the information and trying to claim ownership that they saw it and people claimed it. As one of your panelists said, how come all the prophets always spell doom for the country? And they can't see anything meaningful about our development and how we can move our country forward. But every time it's always prophecies of doom. I don't think we should encourage these things. Most of these prophets, if you look at them, and if you profile them, you realize that by and large, they don't belong to the organized Christian councils group, like the Ghana Pentecostal Charismatic Council, the Cali Bishop Conference, the Christian Council, the National Association of Charismatic Churches. They don't belong to these established systems, because these established councils are well trained in theology and they know how to manage these things. So unfortunately, we have most of them, and the concern is that we need to find out, if you profile them, you realize that majority of them may not be having well-educated, educated background. You will also realize that they just emerge, no good theological training, and also if you even profile them, you realize that they come from a particular area of the region in the country. That should tell you that people just want to get into things and they're looking for a name. I think if it is difficult for the councils to manage some of these things, I belong to the school of thought that there should be a moment where government must come in to regulate some of these things. Because if we are not careful, we will get into a situation where we cannot handle. Because when people are poor by nature, they have become vulnerable. And it is easy for people to take advantage of their vulnerability. Okay? And therefore, there should be a time. If all these church councils cannot help to regulate, there should be a time where government has to come in and say this nonsense needs to stop. So that government needs to regulate some of these things. I mean, we wonder, regulated the system, sanitize the system, and flush out some, unwanted, religious activities, and bring sanity into the system. I think we are going to the extreme. I belong to the school of thought that government must come in to regulate the system. If the church councils can't do that, then government must step in to regulate so that some of these things can be curtailed. So this would be part of my initial comments on this issue where we find ourselves. I don't think, with the greatest of respect, the Honorable Elvis Ankra should really get into some of these things. I mean, our president has so much to deal with. He shouldn't be bogged down with the so-called prophecies and what have you. Otherwise, people will take undue advantage, create a job for themselves, and go tell president all kinds of stories. Listen, we will be doomed if we allow these type of things to linger around and then begin to listen to all prophecies from different groups of people. We must stay focused. Our president should stay focused. He must be resolved about what he's doing. We have the scriptures enjoins us to pray for our leaders, which we will do. If you have any prophecy or you have any revelation that you think authorities must get to know, you find a way to approach them and then communicate that. But doing that in the public, throwing it in the public domain in the name of social media, that is not what the scriptures actually directs us to do. Majority of these prophets, they just want recognition. They want to get popularity and fame. And unfortunately, using the tragedy to authenticate that they are authors of these things is extremely unfortunate.
Okay. But Bishop, I thought I heard you say at a point the government needs to come in to regulate. So at what point should government come in to regulate? Not now?
Well, we need to find a way to start. Government, first of all, must have conversations with the church councils and let them know that these excesses needs to be controlled. Let's give the church councils the opportunity to come up with a solution. If they can't find solutions, then government must come in.
Okay. Okay.
Dr. Samuel Noi Mensah, he's a chairman of the Board of Trustees of Full Gospel Church International. And as we are winding down on this conversation, I just want to Bishop, thank you so much.